What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are going to continue our coverage over both the Dawn of X era of X-Men comics, but also continue our coverage over Empyre as well with X-Men Empyre. Yes, X-Men Empyre was a miniseries that was released by Marvel as a way to be a tie-in to the Empyre event. But at the same time, Jonathan Hickman is trying to build up this new world for the X-Men as well. So while we have this miniseries being a tie-in for Empyre, it's also Jonathan Hickman using these books as a way to begin another new thing for the X-Men world, for the X-Men comics. And so we have to cover this tie-in for both Empyre coverage and Dawn of X coverage as well. Now, to begin today's video, we actually pick up with X-Men Empyre #1, where we pick up with Doctor Strange. Now, the reason why we pick up with Doctor Strange is because right now you have Doctor Strange talking to somebody. Now, we can tell right off the bat who he is talking to, because the person he is talking to is the Scarlet Witch. Now, this is huge because the Scarlet Witch is asking Doctor Strange to help her undo her past mistakes. And when I say her past mistakes, I'm talking about the House of M event. Now, let me explain what happened in the House of M event, because it's really important for this storyline. So, House of M was a big event Marvel did back in the early 2000s. Now, in that event, what basically happened was the Scarlet Witch went crazy. And the reason why she went crazy is because she lost her children. And so she altered reality into a new world where she was a mother again and she had her children. Now, with that being said, though, you didn't have our heroes kind of force her to put everything back like it was before she had altered reality, which she did. But right before she did that, though, she said the famous 3 words: no more mutants. Now, when she said no more mutants, she basically took powers away from 1 million mutants across the world. 1 million mutants lost their powers because of the Scarlet Witch. Now, some of those mutants actually died because when she said that and she took their powers away, they were using their powers for some kind of reason. And so some of them actually died because they were using their powers to survive. And so right now you have the Scarlet Witch very upset with herself. She wants to undo everything she did back in the House of M event. But of course, you have Doctor Strange tell her, no, you can't do that, because that is you using a lot of magic that you need to pay back. Because remember, in the Marvel Universe, when you use magic, it comes with a cost. And so something that big is going to cost a lot. And so after Doctor Strange basically told the Scarlet Witch no about him helping her undo all her mistakes, she begins to go to different areas around the world and visiting different people who she thinks that could basically help her undo everything she did back in the House of M event. Now, this actually leads into a big problem. And that problem is, though, she goes to Genosha. Now, Genosha was a very important thing that happened in the X-Men comics, because what happened was you had Magneto basically get an island just like Krakoa, but this island was called Genosha. And with this island, all the mutants, not all, but a lot of mutants went to live on Genosha as a way to get away from the governments of the world who basically hated mutants. They formed their own nation called Genosha. The problem was, though, a bunch of Sentinels came to Genosha and killed 16 million mutants. Just like that. 16 million mutants were killed. And so with the deaths of those mutants, the Scarlet Witch realized she can't undo what she did back in the House of M, but maybe she can undo mistakes the humans did back in that storyline right there, where the 16 million mutants were killed. And so with that being said, you actually have the Scarlet Witch bring them back to life. She uses her magic to bring every single mutant that died on Genosha back to life. We have some zombies. Now, you do have Jonathan Hickman remind us where was the location of Genosha, and apparently it was right off the coast of Africa, kind of close near to Wakanda. Now, here comes the thing though. The reason why we're focusing on Genosha is not just because the Scarlet Witch, because some of the Katahdis have landed on Genosha. Because remember, this is a tie-in to the Empyre event. So with that being said, these Katahdis, these plant-like creatures, had landed on Genosha, even though this island is technically a dead island. Now, with them landing here, their goal is to actually attack Wakanda. Now, before they're able to actually do that, that is the moment they are confronted by someone. And of course, these Katahdis are confronted by no other than a zombie that was brought back to life by the Scarlet Witch. Now, with that being said, though, you do have this zombie basically tell the Katahdis what this island is all about. He tells them that this island was an island full of mutants, but of course, they all died, but they were brought back to life. Now, the Katahdis, apparently these Katahdis have no idea what a mutant is, even though some Katahdis did run into Gabriel back in X-Men number 10, but this group right here has no idea about what a mutant is. But with that being said though, you do have this zombie tell the Katahdis what is a mutant, a human but with powers. And so then you have the Katahdis ask the zombie, okay, if you are a mutant, a human with powers, then what are your powers? And you had a zombie say, I am Explodey Boy, meaning that I basically blow things up. And so then you have Explodey Boy just blow up the area, hoping to kill off these Katahdis. Now, after that explosion, we do come to find out that some of the Katahdis did survive the explosion, and also Explodey Boy as well. He also survived the explosion. Now, when it comes to the Katahdis, they want to know, how in the world did you survive the explosion? Because you exploded. You should be dead. And you have Explodey Boy say, well, because I was already dead. So, of course, I can't die again if I'm already dead. But with that being said though, that is the moment you have Explodey Boy say, oh, you don't hear what's coming towards you right now. I am not the only person brought back to life. Remember, this island was 16 million mutants and we all died on this island, and a lot of us was brought back to life, and a lot of us, well, we were vegetarians, meaning that we like to eat plant-like stuff. And of course, with you guys being plant-like creatures, these zombies might come eat you. And that is when they see a horde of zombies just running towards the Katahdi. But then we jump over to Angel, Pennis, and Magic. Now, this is Charles Xavier making a new X-Men team. And this X-Men team is going to be called X Corporation, or X Corp for short. Now, when it comes to X Corp, the main purpose of this team is to handle all the different companies that Charles Xavier and COPPA has. Because at this point in Marvel Comics, COPPA is the most wealthiest nation in the world because they have so many different companies that are doing well. But with that being said, they need someone to kind of manage all of those different companies. And so that is where X Corp comes in. They basically run all these different companies. But here comes the problem though. Angel and Pennis, they get upset because they come to find out Magic is not trying to join their team. Magic was sent by Charles Xavier to be a spy, because it seems like Charles Xavier doesn't really trust Angel and Pennis to run all these different companies. And so with that, you have Angel and Pennis say, we want to talk to Charles Xavier. We hate the idea that he's basically using you as a spy because it seems like he doesn't trust us. But when they get back to Krakoa, they do see that Black Tom is upset about something, and he's talking to Charles Xavier. And basically, it's Black Tom telling Charles Xavier that one of his gates, a Krakoan gate, is not working properly. And of course, the gate he's talking about is the gate that leads over to Genosha. And so with that being said, it's basically Black Tom saying like, hey man, we need to send someone over there to figure out why that gate is not working properly. And of course, you do have Charles Xavier tell Black Tom that they will send someone very soon to go check up on that gate. Now, with that being said, though, that is the moment you have Charles realize Angel is standing right there. Now, you do have Angel tell Charles Xavier that he's very upset that magic was used as a spy to kind of watch over him and Penance, but you didn't have Charles say, listen, the reason why I sent magic over there was to not spy on you, but to basically see if we could use you anywhere else besides X corporations, because you're one of the only few good mutants that we have left, and we need to use you everywhere possible. And so that means that if you're being used in X Corp, but the problem is if we could use you somewhere else, we want to make sure we could use you somewhere else. I'm not watching over you like I don't trust you. I'm watching over you to see where can I use you. And that is the moment you basically have Charles Xavier realize that he could use Angel right now. And so what he does is he tells Angel about what's going on Genosha, how their gate is not working over there, and they're having a hard time figuring out why. And so they're going to send X Corp over there to kind of handle that problem. Now, here comes the thing, though. You do have Angel tell Magneto that Angel only wants him, Penance, and also Magic to go, and that is it. Only those three characters. But you have Magneto say, no, you need a fourth person. And do not tell me no again, because you will take a fourth person with you. And so go ahead and pick someone else to go with you, because we want a full team out there, because we have no idea what's happening on Genosha. Now, when they do arrive to Genosha, that is the moment we come to find out who the fourth person on the team is. And that fourth person is Jamie Madrox. Now, Jamie Madrox has the ability to make clones of himself. And so with that being said, he is the fourth person on this team. But either way, though, as soon as our heroes arrive on the island, that is the moment they are attacked by all the different zombies on Genosha that the Scarlet Witch brought back to life. And so with that, you have the X-Corp say, listen, we need to fix the gate that was broken that can lead us back to Krakoa and get the heck out of here, because that is a lot of zombies. Now, of course, when they do get over to the gate is covered with vines. And so that is why the gate was not working properly. And so you actually have Jamie Madrox made clones of himself as a way to get rid all of those vines to make the gate working again, so that X-Corp can escape before all these different zombies possibly kill them. But right after Jamie Madrox was able to pull all those vines off the gate to make the gate working again, that is the moment we see that something else is coming through the gate. And this something else that is coming through the gate is a bunch of old ladies. Yes, you heard right, a bunch of old ladies, because we saw them back in X-Men #3, written by Jonathan Hickman, because that group of ladies is better known as the Horde culture. And remember, when it comes to the Horde culture, their main goal is to get rid of the human race, because they feel like the human race is killing off the plant life. They want to bring the earth back to what it was before humans came around, a planet full of plants. And so right now, that's their main goal. But here's the big question, though. Why in the world are they here on Genosha for? That is the big question. Now, when we jump into the second issue of X-Men Empyre, we actually do get reminded about how the Katati are also part of the storyline. Because for a brief moment there, they weren't mentioned in the storyline, just for a brief moment. But either way, though, you do have the Katatis actually get cut down by these old ladies, because you would think that these old ladies would actually side with the Katatis, because when it comes to the Katatis, they are plant-like creatures. And when it comes to these old ladies, their main goal is to have plant life take over the planet, over the human race. So you would think that they would side with creatures that are basically plant-like creatures. But they don't, because you have the old ladies tell us they do not like the idea of aliens trying to invade their Earth. And so, of course, they do cut down some of the Katatis. Now, right after that, you do have Angel get upset because it seems like when it comes to X-Corp, their main goal was not to kill anybody at all, especially Katatis. But here comes the problem though, these old ladies did. And so you have you have Angel tell Magic they need to go. Magic needs to use her powers to teleport these old ladies away because right now they're killing people. On top of that, this area is too dangerous and so they need to go. But with that being said though, that is the moment you have one of the old ladies actually spray Angel right in the face. And of course, the spray she used, it makes Angel fall in love with her. Yes, you heard that right. The spray she used made Angel fall in love with her. And so now Angel will no longer attack them and no longer be mean to them. Now he'll do anything for them because when Angel looks at them, they look like some beautiful, hot young ladies. And Angel's all like, yeah, you know what, Magic? Never mind. They can stay. They're hot. They're cute. I'll do anything they tell me. Now that spray also works on Jamie Madrox as well. So now both guys are helping out the old ladies while you have Penance and Magic all like, what in the mess is going on? But then the next few pages is basically an all-out war. You have the Katati fighting, the X-Corp fighting. You have the Horticulture fighting, and you also have the zombies fighting. You have all these different groups fighting against one another in this big battle. But while this big battle is happening, you actually have the Horticulture going around and collecting samples of different Katatis. Now, we have no idea why they're doing that, but they are collecting different samples of the Katatis. But at the same time, though, this battle getting so crazy and so wild, you actually have Magic call in some extra help. Now remember, when it comes to Magic, she is the ruler of Limbo, which means that she can bring in some extra demons to help her from Limbo. And matter of fact, she does that. She calls in some extra demons from Limbo to help out with this battle. And so now this battle got even crazier than it was just a moment ago. Now, we do see a Katati basically sneak away and get back to its spaceship. Now, you would think that this Katati would really take its spaceship and fly away because it realized that when it comes to Genosha, it's just too much to handle to take over. And so with that, you would think that this Katati would actually leave. But it doesn't, because right when the Katati gets back to its control room, it does turn on something special. Now, while the Katati was trying to sneak onto the ship, it was followed by one of the many zombies. And of course, that zombie is planning to eat the Katati. Now, right before the zombie does eat the Katati, you do have the Katati turn on some kind of special system on the spaceship to do something to the Earth, or possibly just to Genosha. But with that being said though, you do have the zombie basically kill off the Katati, basically kill off the Katati. But while the zombie is killing off the Katati, you do have the Katati say that everything is about to change because whatever he turned on is going to be huge. But that is the moment you have a bunch of vines just pop out of nowhere. Now, all of these vines begin the process of actually making a dome on the island. Now, it's not like the island is completely covered. Only a small section of the island is completely covered. But with that being said, though, with this dome being there now, you have the escort team get split in half. You have half the team on the outside of the dome and the other half the team inside the dome. And matter of fact, it's the same thing for the old ladies as well. Half of them are outside the dome while the other half is inside the dome. And so right now you have the team on the outside trying to get inside the dome to help their teammates out. But that is the moment we jump back over to Black Tom, because remember, Black Tom is the security system for COPPA, and he was the one freaking out earlier about the gate that led to Genosha not working properly, and so that is why the escort team is there. Now the gate is still not working at all, but of course Angel calls up Black Tom to figure out why the gate is not working, and so that is the moment you have Black Tom say, okay, I can't technically get over there with my actual body, but because I control all wood life around the world, I'm able to use wood particles that is on Angel's shoulder to make an avatar to basically talk through to talk to the X-Corp team. And that's what he does. The wood particles that was on Angel's shoulder were brought together to make a smaller avatar for Black Tom to talk through to talk to the X-Corporation team. Now that is the moment you actually have Angel hand over the avatar of Black Tom over to Magic so that Magic can tell Black Tom everything that is going on. And basically she tells him like how Genosha is going crazy, it's going wild, and on top of that as well, they're fighting against 3 different forces: the Katahdis, the zombies, and also the old ladies as well. They have all these different things going on all at once. But on top of that, the Katahdis have basically made a dome on the island, and half their team and half of the old lady teams are trapped inside the dome as well. And so with that being said, you do have Magic tell Black Tom they're having a hard time getting inside that dome. Now, you do have Magic actually ask the old ladies how in the world can they get inside the dome? And that is the moment you have the old lady say, why not bring a plant that has some kind of organic defense system to fight against other plants? And that is the moment you have Black Tom say, bingo, COPPA, because COPPA is a plant-like creature, a plant-like monster. And so with that being said, you have COPPA actually infect Genosha with a small part of it to give this island now a organic fighting system to fight against the Katahdis' little dome. But here comes the next big problem though. And the problem is that when it comes to COPPA always needs psychic energy to survive. And so when it comes to the island of COPPA, you have a bunch of psychic mutants being able to work together to give COPPA enough energy per day to kind of feed it to keep it alive. But now with the island kind of being on here on Genosha in a way, there's only one psychic on the island, and that is Penance. And that is huge right there, because Penance, she is a powerful psychic, but she's not powerful enough to actually feed COPPA. And so with that being said, they have to stop using the organic system that was brought by COPPA, because the longer it's here on Genosha, the quicker it's killing off Penance. And so right now you have Magic get even more upset, because now that plan is basically trashed. And that leads into Magic getting very upset at the old ladies. And the reason why she's so upset at the old ladies is because the old ladies right now are blocking the gate of COPPA. And with the gate being blocked, that means no backup can come for the X-Corp team. No other mutants can use that gate to get over to Genosha. And so with that, you have Magic get really upset, because right now they have a small part of COPPA on this island with them, and COPPA must feed off psychic energy. And of course, there's only one psychic, and that psychic is dying because of COPPA. They need more psychics to help feed COPPA. And so right now you have Magic say, I need you, old ladies, to open up our gate, because with our gate closed, we can get no backup, and also we need more psychic mutants to help feed COPPA before my friend dies. And so with that, you have Magic actually trap some of the old ladies between Limbo and the Earth realm. And she's kind of like, you have a choice. Open our gate, or I'm going to send you to Limbo. And when I do, you are going to have a bad time there. And so, of course, you have the old ladies get so scared. They're like, okay, fine. We'll basically go ahead and open up the gate. And with the gate being unlocked, that is the moment you have a bunch of mutants just walk through. And of course, all the mutants that walk through are very powerful psychic mutants for two things. One, to feed COPPA, but two, to also help fight against the zombies and the Catatis, and to hopefully win the day finally. Now, when you jump into the third issue of this run or this storyline, it gets even crazier because with zombies, usually when zombies bite someone else, that person turns into a zombie as well. And so with the zombies going around trying to eat Catatis, now you have zombie Catatis. And here comes the big thing though, because remember, apparently in good old zombie movies, zombies always are looking for brains. They're always trying to eat brains. And so with the zombies biting Catatis and turning Catatis into zombies, now you have Catati zombies and regular mutant zombies both trying to find people with brains. And of course, the only people who have brains is the X-Men, X-Corp, and also the old ladies from the Horde culture. They're the only ones who have brains. So now they're about to be attacked by both the zombies of mutants and the Catatis who have been turned into zombies. But getting back over to the group of mutants who arrived to help out the X Corporation deal with the zombies and the Catatis, you do have those psychic mutants confused because they're kind of like, what in the world should we be doing right now? And you have Magic tell them that, listen, we need you guys to help us fight against the Catatis and also the zombies. But at the same time, we need you guys to help feed COPPA because COPPA needs a huge amount of psychic energy. And because you guys are all psychic mutants, you can give COPPA all of that energy, but at the same time, still help us fight against the Catatis and the zombies. And so, of course, you do have the mutants agree to help out Magic, but then you have Magic say, listen, I'm going to take this old lady somewhere else to help us actually defeat the Catati and the zombies and finally end this madness. And that is the moment we actually do see Magic take one of the members of the Horde culture over to Beast. Now, the reason why she took one of the members of the Horde culture over to Beast is to actually have Beast begin the process of working on a cure to get rid of the Catatis, but also to get rid of the zombies that are on Genosha as well. And so Beast and this old lady are going to work together to make a cure to get rid of the zombies and to get rid of the Catatis as well. Now, getting inside the dome, we actually pick up with Jamie Madrox and another member of the Horde culture. Now, right now, you have this group right here freaking out because Penance, she's knocked out thanks to COPPA feeding off her psychic energy. But on top of that, right now, they're about to be attacked by Catatis and zombies. Now, the Catatis inside the domes have not been affected yet. And matter of fact, they're just regular Catatis, not Catati zombies. But right now, they're very angry at one particular zombie. And the zombie they're mad at is, of course, Explode Boy. Remember, Explode Boy has the ability to make things explode. And we saw that at the very beginning of this video. And right now, you have Explode Boy tell Jamie that he'll help them out by getting rid of these group of Catatis, but after he does that, he wants to keep all the pieces of the Catatis for himself to eat. And you have Jamie said, yeah, sure. If that's the case, if you're going to help us get rid of them so that you can eat, dude, go ahead and do your thing. And that is the moment we see Explode Boy just explode. And the member of the Horde culture, they are trying to figure out how to make a cure to get rid of that dome. And matter of fact, when we do actually pick back up with them, they were able to find a cure to get rid of that dome, which is great to hear. But here comes the problem though. Black Tom is trying to get a hold of Magic so that they can go ahead and have her teleport back over here, get the cure, and then go back to Genosha to deal with that problem. But the problem is though, Black Tom cannot reach Magic at all. And so now they need someone else to go teleport over there. And that someone else is, of course, Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is gonna teleport over there to help out the X Corporation team deal with this new problem on Genosha. And so when we actually do jump back over to COPPA, we actually do see the heroes on COPPA, not all of them, but some of them are being overrun by the Catatis and the zombies. It's a huge battle, it's a huge mess. But that is the moment you actually have Nightcrawler appear and begin to use what was given to him by Beast and basically begin the process of getting rid of the dome, which is honestly a good thing for our heroes. But of course, this storyline is still not over yet because another problem does pop up for our heroes after Nightcrawler almost saved the day. And that problem is actually magic. And what I mean is that the story does jump back over to magic and also one of the Stepford Cuckoos. Now remember, the Stepford Cuckoos are basically just clones of Emma Frost. Now with that being said though, right now they're fighting against a huge amount of zombies and also the Catatis. And they were able to get rid of that huge amount of zombies and Catatis. But here comes the big problem though. See, out of nowhere, Magic does sense something. Something is calling out to her. And that is the moment we see a staff just right in the middle of Genosha. And you have Magic go over and grab that staff. Now, right before she does grab that staff, you do have the Stepford Cuckoo's sister scream out at Magic and say, "Stop, do not grab it. It could lead to more problems." But of course, it was calling out to Magic, and so she grabbed it. And with her grabbing it, of course, it means it led to her going under some new transformation. And now she looks like some kind of demonic queen getting ready to lead into more problems for the X-Men. But getting back over to Jamie Madrox and Penance and also one member of the horror culture, you do see them right now freaking out because what Explodey Boy did. He did explode, getting rid of a lot of zombies and a lot of Catatis as well. But of course, Explodey Boy also killed off a lot of clones of Jamie Madrox. And so with those clones basically blown up, you now have Explodey Boy, who is a zombie, eating the dead body parts of the clones of Jamie Madrox. And for Jamie, he's kind of like, dude, this is so wrong because you're basically eating me, but you're not at the same time. But either way, though, that is the moment you have Jamie realize there is another horde of zombies coming towards him, Penance, and the members of the horror culture. And so with that being said, they have to get the heck out of there. But getting back over to Magic, this is the moment we kind of learn more about what the staff she has in her hand does. Because the staff in her hand that she has is actually the same staff the Scarlet Witch used to bring all these zombies to life. And so with that being said, with Magic now having that staff in her hand and being controlled over that staff, now you have Magic no longer being Magic. And matter of fact, she has a new name. She calls herself the Zombie Queen. And that is huge because now she can control all the zombies on Genosha with the staff that Scarlet Witch used to bring these zombies to life. And so now this is another problem for the X Corporation. But then the story only gets worse because now you have all those zombies and the Catati zombies going inside the dome. And this is huge because we finally learned what was going on inside that dome. That dome was giving birth to some kind of plant-like monster the Catati was planning on using. But here comes the big problem though, because with those zombies and the Catati zombies, they all went inside the dome and began to eat away at the brain inside the dome. And so that creature, that plant-like monster the Catati was planning on using against the mutants on Genosha, well, now it has been infected. And so now you have a huge plant-like monster zombie that's going to fight against every single member of X Corporation, X-Men, whatever. But now this monster is a zombie monster and things just got worse. Now this actually does lead into the next big question. What happened to the Scarlet Witch? Because the last time we saw her, the zombies were about to attack her. And so with the 4th chapter of this book, we come to find out she escaped. She got away, which honestly is a great thing because kind of like, dude, that would suck if the Scarlet Witch died and she's no longer a mutant, but she's trying to help mutants out. But then her new idea to help mutants just ends up killing her. But of course, she did survive. She was able to escape. But then we see her actually go over to Doctor Strange. And that makes sense because Doctor Strange was the first person she came to and asking for his help to figure out a way to undo all of her mistakes back in the House of M event. And of course, he was the one who told her, you cannot undo your mistake. You are basically screwed. Your mistakes will always stay with you. You cannot undo it. But now you have the Scarlet Witch telling him, hey man, listen, you were right. I should have listened to you, but I didn't. So now we have about 16 million mutant zombies just roaming the earth. So I kind of need your help right now to deal with those zombies. And you have Doctor Strange kind of like, dude, didn't I warn you? Didn't I warn you? Okay, fine. If we're going to do this, I need your help. Because there's a girl in Brooklyn who hates me. She changed her number. I need her new number. Not for the girl, but for the well. Because that well could possibly help us get rid of all of those zombies that you brought to life. And this actually leads into a very funny moment. Because you do have Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch go back to Genosha. Now, I do want to point out one thing real quick. This moment right here takes place 30 days in the past, really 29 days in the past. But with that being said, though, there's a huge reason why I said 29 and not 30. And the reason why, because in the past, Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange went back to Genosha to kind of get rid of the zombies. And so what Doctor Strange did was he basically took the staff the Scarlet Witch used to bring the zombies to life. And he said that the spell he did on her staff will undo all the spells she used to bring the zombies back to life. The problem is, though, the spell that he used to undo her spell will take 30 days to go into effect. Meaning that as long as this staff stays right here, where it's at right now, for 30 days straight, then the spell should be undone. The problem was, though, in 29 days, the X-Men came over to Genosha because one of their gates was not working, and that led into a huge battle on Genosha. And with Magic now grabbing that staff and becoming the zombie queen, now the spell that Doctor Strange basically made to help get rid of all of these zombies just failed. Because again, it was supposed to take 30 days, but the X-Corp, the Katadis, they all came to this island on 29th day of the spell. But now we can jump over to the present day. And of course, the present day is not good right now because you have zombies, you have Katadis, you have crazy old ladies. Oh, and by the way, now you have some 10-foot tall monster just going around the place wreaking havoc on Genosha. And of course, everyone's all like, how in the world can we stop this? How in the world can we actually win this battle? And what's crazy is, though, you actually have Magic, who's now calling herself the Zombie Queen, still believe that they can actually stop this monster. Now, of course, you do have other characters kind of like, yeah, we'll help out. But again, it's kind of like, this is a zombie Katadi monster just wreaking havoc across the island. But then we jump over to Beast, and this actually leads into a very interesting moment that I actually like. Like, really, I did not expect this to happen. And what I mean is that we pick up with Beast right now, telling us that he figured out how the Horde culture were able to access the Krakoan gates. And so with him figuring that out right there, he was able to stop that. But then he brings in a young boy. Now, he's going to send this young boy on a mission, and we have no idea what that mission is, but he is going to send that boy over to Genosha to kind of help deal with the problems in Genosha. But on top of that right there, he does give us a hint who this boy is, because he says this boy has the powers to explode. and it is Explodey Boy. And this is huge because remember, when it comes to Explodey Boy, he has the powers to explode. But earlier we saw the zombie version of him, but now we're seeing the alive version of him. Because you have to remember, when it comes to Jonathan Hickman, when he began working on the X-Men, the first thing he did, not the first thing, but one of the many first thing he did was he basically stated that COPPA has a way to bring anyone back to life. Because thanks to a group of mutants known as the Five, they're able to bring anyone back to life. Now, it's not like they have a dead body and they're able to reverse the effects of death on that dead body. What they do is they create a new body for you. And then Charles Xavier and Cerebro download all of your memories into your new body. And so technically you are a clone of the old version that had died. But again, it's a way for COPPA to keep bringing someone back to life over and over again. And so with that being said though, Explodey Boy and probably the rest of the 16 million mutants that were on Genosha have been brought back to life, and they're all living on, of course, again, COPPA. And Explodey Boy was one of them. And so we actually do see Explodey Boy talk to the dead version of himself. And honestly, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool because now you have the zombie Explodey Boy like, wait, I see myself, but I'm alive. And so you have the living version of Explodey Boy explain everything over to the dead version of Explodey Boy. And honestly, it's a very heartfelt moment because the dead version is kind of like, I died and never had the chance to actually live my life. But now I come to find out that there is a newer version of me being able to live out my life for me. And that right there is great to see. And so with that being said, you have the dead version of Explodey Boy say, listen, you're the newer version of me. I want you to stay alive and live on life. Let me take care of the monster. And you're kind of like, what in the world is he going to do? And so we see the dead version of Explodey Boy get the jetpack that was on the back of the alive version of Explodey Boy, use the jetpack to fly into the mouth of the monster and then just explode, killing the monster completely. Now, with the monster gone, it does seem like everything should be okay now. But of course, we still have the zombies and the zombie queen. And so with that being said, though, we do kind of find out that when it comes to Doctor Strange and his spell he did earlier in this chapter right here, the spell still works. Remember, at first he said the spell could only work if nothing stops the spell in 30 days. And of course, the spell was stopped by magic when she picked up the staff. But come to find out, the spell still can work even after it was picked up by someone. And so while you have magic going on this huge talk about how she is a zombie queen, that is when the time changes into the 30th day. And of course, the spell destroys everything the Scarlet Witch did, meaning that magic is no longer the zombie queen. On top of that as well, all the zombies go away as well. And really the book ends on that note right there, where you have everybody go their separate direction after being able to get rid of the zombies and the Katatis. And so you have everyone go their separate direction, which honestly is great and all. But the point of this book was Scarlet Witch learning that she can't undo her past mistakes, because if you try to do that, it leads into more mistakes down the road. It leads to more problems down the road. And so for the Scarlet Witch, she learned a very valuable lesson. And honestly, I like the idea of Hickman using her because she was very important in X-Men comics for so many years until you had Marvel basically say that she was no longer a mutant, and really we hardly saw her in any X-Men comics after that. But I like the idea of bringing her back into X-Men comics because she was a very important character for the X-Men. Now, this is not the last tie-in for the X-Men for the Empyre event. There is one more we have to cover, and that is the best one, X-Men number 11, because it's all about Magneto. And let me tell y'all, Magneto, man, he shows us why he's one of the best villains of all time in Marvel Comics. But I am going to go ahead and end today's video on that note right there. So with that being said, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.